Car 2, Sergeant 1.
Car 1, go ahead.
Respond to 102 North at the corner of Devon Avenue and Getz Boulevard. 102 North, corner of Devon Avenue and Getz Boulevard. Reporting party states that his brother is suicidal, says he's going to die today one way or the other, and is possibly armed with a knife.
10-4, copy.
Car 1's on scene. Dispatch, can you advise if anybody else is in the residence?
Not that we are aware of.
Dispatch, can you connect me to the complainant, the brother, please, via cell phone?
10-4, Cobb, connecting.
Car 2 on scene.
Hello, this is Sheriff's Department calling to speak to Brian.
I got movement in the window.
Okay, is this Brian?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Brian, this is the Sheriff's Department. Just wondering, can you give us a little more information about what's going on with Dan today?
Yeah, so he kind of last night, he was agitated most of the night. So I called this morning just to see if he was doing any better, and he wasn't. So I could tell that something's bothering him. And when I spoke to him, he just basically said that he's going to die one way or the other today. So that's why I called.
Did he say how he was going to die today?
No, he just said one way or the other. And I just took that as, either he's going to do it himself or he's going to get somebody to do it for him.
Okay. Have we dealt with him before? The police dealt with him before in the past?
Yes, you get to have several.
Okay. And how did that go?
Good. I guess the last 3 times he's getting more or lost.
All right. I've lost contact with him. I'm going to go ahead and see if maybe we can make contact with Dan inside the house.
Okay.
Is he armed in there?
He has picked up a knife
All right,
a couple times while you were on the phone.
Let me see if maybe we can talk to
What are you guys doing?
Dan inside the house.
All right.
He seems pretty agitated.
Huh?
All right, we can't get a hold of him.
All right.
All right, so let's just try to keep our distance to figure out what's going on. I'll try to talk to him.
Let's
I'll be
go.
cover.
Let's get this over
I'll
with.
contact if you want to be cover, and I'll
Okay.
be less lethal taser.
All right, that's fine.
You deadly.
Okay. He is
And-
armed with a long-edged weapon.
Car 1 to Sergeant, can you respond to our scene? Sir,
What?
what's going on today?
Nothing. Why don't you leave?
Are you Dan? Are you
Yeah, I'm
Dan?
Dan.
You're Dan? Well, Dan, I'm Shelley with the Sheriff's Department. I'm just here to talk to you for a little bit, find out what's going on.
I don't really want to talk to you. Why don't you leave?
Well, look, Dan, I think we both know that I can't do that, okay? I have a job to do, and I can't leave. So can you just tell me what's happened today? Why are you feeling this way?
One way or another, this is going down today. That's what's going on today.
Dan, talk to me.
One way or another, we're going to finish this today. Either you do it or I do it.
Can you just tell me what happened? Why are you feeling this way? Why do you want to do that? What happened?
It really doesn't matter what happened.
Dispatch, show Sergeant 1 on scene. What do we got,
Come
guys?
on, kill me. Quit wasting time.
All right. It looks like we got dispatched up here for a suicidal subject. Shelley made contact with the brother and then attempted to make contact with the subject inside the house. We weren't too successful. He's been screaming from the house since we got here. He said he wants it. He kind of wants us to end it, or he's going to take care of it himself.
Yeah, I think he wants us to kill him.
All right, this may be a suicide by cop situation, so let's keep a lot of distance here. Make sure we keep the cover of the vehicles. Know where we're going to back up to if he starts charging towards us. We're going to keep a good perimeter here. I'm going to get an ambulance standing by a block away. We'll make sure we have a perimeter established in the back as well. Let's stay on our rolls. Shelley, let's try to get him in conversation, but let's be real sensitive of our tactics here, and let's watch his movements. Try to keep that distance, and remember, we're going to keep the vehicles right here. If we've got to push back, we're going to push back to these vehicles, all right?
Okay.
Okay, so nice and easy. Josh, you got us the whole time, okay?
Yep,
All right,
I got
Sarge.
less lethal with taser.
Okay.
Okay.
Dispatch Sergeant 1, give me an ambulance standing by 1 block south of Getz on Oak. Have that ambulance.
Let's go.
stand
Come on.
by.
You. Let's
We're
go.
not gonna
Dan,
drive it.
can you just stay back there? Look,
Let's give him enough space.
Dan, just stay back there and let us talk. We're just starting to talk. I don't even know anything about you. All I know is your brother called. He said you're having a really bad day, okay? And we're just here to help.
It's
All
pretty
right?
bad, but it's gonna be done soon. We're gonna get it done
Listen,
soon.
I got Brian on the way, all right? He's really concerned. How do you think Brian would feel if something happened today, Dan?
This
How do
isn't
you think
about
he
Brian
would feel?
today. This don't bring him up.
Listen,
This is not about Brian today.
all right, he called us. He just wants us to check on you. What happened? Do you have a job?
You're not
Dan.
gonna do it, I'll do it myself. How about that?
Dan, can you take the knife away from your neck? Just talk to me. Just take the knife away from your neck. All right, let's have a conversation. All right, can you back up? Thank you. Can you please back up? I'm staying in my space. You could stay in your space. All right, we'll just keep talking. We'll figure out what's going on. Do you have a job?
I lost my job.
Okay. Do you have any family?
Just Brian, who apparently turned me over to you guys.
No, it's just because he cares, Dan. All he does, he just cares. He doesn't want anything to happen to you. He's on his way now. He's really upset.
I don't really want him to come here.
Okay.
I don't want him to come
then
here.
he doesn't have to come here. But he's super upset and he's super concerned about you, okay?
Why don't you just pull that thing? Let's get this over
Hey,
with. I
Dan.
don't really want to talk to her.
Dan, talk
How
to
about
me.
you talk to me with that thing right there? Let's go.
Dan, talk to me. Talk to me. Look, let's just talk. All right? All right, are you older or younger than Brian?
I'm older.
You're older than him? All right, so it's your little brother.
Yeah, that's great. My little brother's got to come take care of me again.
Well, everybody needs help sometimes, Dan, all right? Me, you, officers over here, we all have bad days. We all have bad days. I understand. I have them too. I have a younger...
Just get it over with.
Look, Dan, what can we do? What can we do to help you, Dan? Can you back up? Can you please back up some? Please? What would you do? You got Brian, who's so upset about this whole situation right now.
I told you I had to bring him up.
We don't want to make a forever decision today, all right? We can get you help. Is there anybody else that we can call? Do you have any friends?
No.
You don't have any
Brian
friends?
is all I have. And now
All
he
right.
turned me over to the cops.
Okay. Well, he didn't turn you over. We really just want to help you, that's all. We want to give you the help that you need, all right? That's all we're here to do, is to help you. Is there anything that we can do? I know you want us to leave. We can't do that. I've told you that we can't do it. Can you drop the knife? Can we talk?
We're
In a
talking right
better
now.
situation?
We're talking right now. How can
Okay.
you help me?
All right. Are you seeing anybody right now? Are you seeing a counselor?
Just Brian.
Just Brian. Okay. Would you like to talk to somebody other than Brian? Thank you. Thank you. I feel much better talking to you now. Can you walk towards me a little bit? All right, keep your hands where I can see them. All right, for your safety and mine, I don't want anybody to get hurt. Do you want to go talk to somebody? We can take you up, get you evaluated, talk to somebody, get you some help so you don't have days like this anymore, okay? I understand. Everybody has bad days. You don't have to have bad days, okay? There's help out there, and we're here to get you that help, all right? All right, can you walk towards me a little bit? Can you turn around? Look, what I'm going to do now, you have any other weapons on you? All right, just stay where you are. Can you put your hands on your head? I'm going to pat you down, okay, for your safety and mine, all right? All right, I'm going to put you in handcuffs, okay? I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Good job on the video, folks. So let's walk through. Let's use the CDM, the critical decision model, to walk through what you did and why you did it. First thing, information. So let's walk through. Shelley, tell us what information you had from the get-go.
Dispatch, I didn't get a whole lot. Suicidal subject inside a house. A brother was the complainant. I tried to get more from dispatch as far as was there anybody else in the house or anybody in the area. They couldn't give that to me, so I requested that they send me the phone number for the complaint to just get the information straight from the source.
Well, John, you're the supervisor, you're the sergeant, you showed up on the scene. Right off the bat, we heard some screaming from the subject. Kill me, let's do this. How does that change this entire tactical approach and your thinking on this?
As I was assessing what he was yelling out at us when I arrived at scene, during that process, Josh and Shelley were quick to tell me suicidal subject, and Josh used very specific words. I think he wants us to do it. I think he wants us to kill him.
So that's a suicide by cop type of situation.
We agreed based on their initial assessment, what I saw when I got to the scene, that we were all on the same page. We did a pause at that point to make sure we all recognized the same thing, and I reminded them, we reminded each other that we're going to have to adjust our tactics here. The concern was that he had come out, and that if he does decide to push towards us to drive a conflict or try to get us to kill him, that we're going to have to respond to that. And the response at that point is going to be keeping the distance or increasing it. We talked about having the backup if he comes out towards us, and I reminded them that we had cover, we were right next to it, and it was still an option to be able to use it. I used words like, we're going to have to be sensitive with our tactics here. I requested an ambulance to stand by a block away, so staged some medical resources there, and confirmed that we had established a good perimeter and scanned around to make sure that there were no additional threats or concerns in the area, and reminded the officers to stay in those roles. Shelley was going to establish communication. If necessary, Josh was going to be our option, and confirmed before we approached that Josh was good with that, and he was. He acknowledged that I think I used the words, "You've got us." The biggest thing here was communication between the three of us, and making sure we were on the same page with our tactics. We understood how sensitive and dynamic the situation was, and that everything we did was coordinated between the three of us, even down to the point of the approach on the subject when he had dropped the knife. Before Shelley was going to approach him to attempt to take him in custody, we made sure Josh was okay with our approach up, that he still had us with that cover, and that we coordinated our tactics even up to the point where we took him in custody.
And your tactics were designed to keep you safe, as well as buy you the time that you need to keep him safe. Is that correct?
Absolutely, to slow the entire situation down, to create a big enough distance to give us time to react. More importantly, to give us time to adjust. As we said, we reminded each other that if he comes towards us, we have room to back up, and we've got cover that we can use, and we're going to use it.
Dr. Nicola, real quick question. So nonverbal cues, you tell us about the importance of nonverbal cues. If Josh was pointing that firearm at somebody, you know, he's in this position, he's pointing that firearm, and he starts barking orders, drop the knife, and then all of a sudden we get heightened some more and we throw in other words to do that. What's that say to Dan, our subject in crises?
Well, it says we're not here to help you, we're here to take you down and stuff. And they focus on the threat of commands, what Shelley did, which was really great. She didn't come in and start making too high of a request, drop the knife. She started trying to establish a relationship. If you can get somebody responding to your request, you kind of get dissonance going, where the person believes, okay, I can talk to this individual.
Small, simple request.
Small, simple request. The other thing, when he focused on what I call the death instinct, looking at, you need to kill me, Shelley would redirect, let's get it back on task, and they didn't let him stay on that too much. The other part important is asking what questions instead of why questions. Why questions tend to bring up the negative in people.
Is this a medical assist call?
Yeah.
Is this a crime in progress? How would you answer that?
It's, from what the information that we had, it was a medical assist call. And our goal in this was to get that person help, not escalate the situation into harming the person.
And then you get there, you see that he's armed with a knife. Does that change your response at all? What is your threat assessment once you visualize and see that?
Yeah, I think the tactics for us, it changes. Of course, when you see somebody with a weapon, I like the fact of getting more distance. I like the fact that I knew my car was right there. I knew I had lethal cover. I knew I had less. I had a sergeant on scene behind me, coordinating all the other resources, and it gave me the ability to have a conversation and try to establish a rapport.
So time was on your side.
Yes.
At no time, Did you feel that that threat was imminent, and based upon how you guys positioned yourselves, you had the ability to get behind cover if needed, that you felt you were safe?
Yeah, absolutely. And he walked up a couple times, but he would walk back again. And I was able to go back further, and I had my car there that I knew I still had plenty of distance, that if we needed to act, we could have acted.
If you needed to, could you have gotten back in your vehicle,
Absolutely.
created more distance?
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Big takeaway there is using time as a tactic to your advantage. So
Good.
did a great job.
From a leadership perspective, Tim, walk us through. What would you expect of your people? Was this the way that you would want things to happen in your agency?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we saw is a typical call that plays out in America every day. But the response we saw was not typical at all. You saw your primary officer arrive on the scene with the information provided by dispatch. She went to the extra step of getting critical and essential information from the brother, the caller. Your secondary officer arrives on the scene. They start to formulate a game plan. They recognize very quickly that this is a situation of a suicide by cop. So it's more tools in the toolbox. So every CEO, every sheriff, and every chief in America wants their personnel to be safe, to be able to operate in a safe, effective, efficient environment. These tactics are a subtle change and allows us to serve our constituents and ensure everybody goes home.
In this situation, we had the ability to have a sergeant arrive on scene. In some areas of America, that's going to be tough to get that supervisor on scene as quick as they did in this call. So what would your expectation be of your cops? Somebody's got to take charge, correct?
Somebody must take charge. In this scenario, you saw the sergeant, very clear communications with the primary and secondary officer, which was a huge benefit. Also, he started to employ via the radio other options that were on the way to this in case it became more protracted, which it didn't, based on the very successful dynamic of that communication. But if you don't have a first line supervisor, somebody has to step up in that role.